Within seconds of playing The Division 2, all the old habits kick back in. Jumping jacks, slow hand claps, the Macarena. Sure, there is a city to save from a bioterrorism attack, but also dancing. Even the dogs are back, so 10 out of 10 game of the year so far. On the messing about with friends side of things, The Division 2 is looking great, but as far as the rest of it goes, like the actual game itself, it's harder to call right now. Not because there's anything obviously wrong with it, the gunplay and cover mechanics are great for example, but all I really got to do was run around the dark zone shooting endless bulletproof men in hoodies pouring out of doors for no good reason.
Fuck you!
If you need a little Division refresher, then the Dark Zones are the series' high loot, high risk playgrounds. A lawless area where you fight in-game enemies and other players to steal the best gear and then fight to secure an extraction zone to escape.
Extraction complete.
Extraction successful.
You can go rogue by killing other agents, which will mark you out to other players that are still being good, and in the original it creates a terrifying high stakes experience. The longer you stay, the more loot you can scoop up, risking it all in the process as you fight to get out alive. The reason I'm not entirely sure about The Division 2 yet is because nearly all my time was spent in the Dark Zone. With no setup or reason behind any of it, that just meant fighting mobs to get loot I'm never going to see again. The lack of story or risk means it's really hard to get a feel for the overall game. Mechanically, it's great. The shootouts are full of great guns, chunky cover mechanics and fun gadgets. Setting a hovering attack drone on one enemy as you shoot another never gets old. But I was basically just wandering around triggering mobs, which felt a lot like an extended bot mode and made it hard to really judge what the campaign or the full game might play like. It is fun, but then that largely comes from playing co-op with 3 other people, shouting out threats, rallying on a difficult boss, or getting a down player back up, and so on. It is a good sign overall, but I was playing with people I knew who were in the room with me. How's it going to feel with the 3 matchmaking randos I'm much more likely to get when I play in the real world? And without playing any actual missions, it's almost impossible to get a read on the bigger picture. Will the single player be fun? Will the campaign have plenty of varied and interesting missions? Based on shooting, I don't know, a couple of hundred very angry, very generic bad guys, it's hard to tell. The Division 2's trad deathmatch stuff on the other hand was excellent, mainly again because of the people I was playing with. There are some sharply designed maps using the game's one-to-one recreation of Washington DC to create some great spaces to fight in, and it actually makes this a far more realistic take on urban warfare than a lot of hardcore military shooters. Overall, there is a firm gameplay foundation in place for The Division 2 and a beautiful open world, building a take on a post-apocalyptic Washington 7 months after the original game. But I don't feel like I've done enough or seen enough to really say whether there's sufficient variety for a game that should be offering tens to hundreds of hours of gameplay. The good news is at least that developer Massive is promising a ton of new content over the first year, and when I spoke to them, almost every new feature or idea it's adding to the sequel has come from what it's learned from the 3 years of the last game. Based on that and the fact that what I've played does feel good, then I'm hopeful that The Division 2 could be great, but until I actually see more of the game, I can't say for sure.
The mercy rule is about to be invoked. You're too strong for the enemy.
So there you go, there's my hands-on impressions of The Division 2. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Hit the boxes on the left for more content from us and hit the big button in the middle to subscribe for Games Radar for more news, previews and features.